One of the things we talk about in the book as a practice is the theory of narrative modeling. All right, that's maybe too theoretical. We could talk about story and how story shapes how we see the world, how other people see us. The stories we tell shape a whole bunch of things. And for us, one of the things that's worth sharing with you is how we came to this, what in our own stories might have driven us to want to do this work. And I'll speak for myself. I grew up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which at the time was an incredibly white place, and that's all I knew. But notice the name, Oshkosh, right? I grew up not knowing, really, that name was a Native American name. I grew up in Winnebago County, right, which is also home to many Native Americans that were eventually, of course, pushed out very systematically. And as I grew to learn those stories as an adult, the pain and the anguish of realizing I benefited from this kind of deep, destructive history was very painful. And I want to do something about it, right? And so beginning to understand something about our history, the narratives that we've been shaped by, and learning how to tell other stories, right? Learning how to be present to more adequate descriptions of history drives this work for me and helps me feel a part of a larger community. I'm no longer isolated and stuck in this kind of place. I actually have been invited into a wider, more vibrant community of resistance.
And for me, one of the formative moments in my youth was when I was walking home. I was about 17 with my girlfriend in the town in which I lived in England. And a gang of white kids descended on me and started to beat me up. It's all had to do with different kind of popular cultures that we were each in at the time. And I remember being on the floor, on the pavement, and they were using chains on me and kicking me, and I thought, oh God, this is going to be really serious here. And then a black GI, African American man who'd been working at a USAF base close to where I lived, crossed over the street and said to the white kids, all right, everybody's got to be cool here. And he was so imposing that they just left with no challenge whatsoever. So that really overturned a script in my head, which said that whites are the voice of reason and calmness and logic, and people of color, and particularly those with a black identity, are volatile, dangerous, and potentially violent. So at 17, I had the good fortune of having my paradigms around race completely exploded, and that has just repeated itself so many times over my life. And I'm a long way from being 17 years old, but still in my 70s, I catch myths, particularly of white supremacy, being exploded in my head on a daily basis.